Hey guys, here to talk about French director Jean-Luc Godard. What an amazing, one of a kind, unique director. He's made so many films that I've only seen about like 10 or 15 of them, but I'm just gonna go ahead and cover my absolute favorites of his. A few of them didn't always land for me, but probably because I didn't get it yet, honestly, because he's just such a perfect director. He's amazing. What he's laid out is truly amazing. I think he really originated that kind of Tarantino-esque spark of just joy within the process of filmmaking and letting it bleed for the audience to feel. I think that's just the best you could do with a film. I think Jean-Luc Godard, I wouldn't go as far as to say invented that, but he really pushed that forward in filmmaking, like in a really unique and fascinating way. Like his films just come with such rich, colorful personality. I just don't get sick of watching his best movies. So, in 1960, he made Breathless. It's just a wonderful blast from start to finish. I've just kind of all about a couple criminal goons going out in Paris and just getting into this goofy crime and having fun along the way. The movie has a great sense of humor, kind of a great rebellion, 60s rebellion energy, nihilism, and fun behind it all, balancing all those two elements out. You can really feel like Sergio Leone's spirit in blooming too. I think he was the director that really took after Jean-Luc Godard had laid out as far as just having fun. Yeah, just literally letting your process of filmmaking bleed for everybody to feel. That's kind of what these directors were doing. It's so cool. This is just the ultimate film of loose pacing, I would say. It's so natural in the way that it captures the characters in their element. It's like Goddard would just keep getting crazier and crazier with his films in the 60s to come, but this is just a really good foundation. Again, it's like a detached way of just viewing a very quirky relationship. It's just so charming and fun. So many funny moments all throughout it. So, yeah, that's an amazing one. The following year, 1961, he made A Woman is a Woman. And there's just not a lot of words to describe how great this one is. It's just really out there with its color schemes and what it really wants to ultimately drive home. Like, it's just, the acting is so great. The directing behind it's amazing. I would call it simultaneously rich and quirky, very in the moment. But it's so fun from start to finish. I highly recommend the joy that this one provokes. It definitely foreshadows a lot of what Jacques Demy would go on to do as well. Oh, man. Yeah, some fantastic work right there. Vivre Sa Vie, 1962. This translates in English as My Life to Live. This is a perfect film about getting out into the harshness of reality, but retaining something of an individualistic spirit the entire way through. And this is the film that just gets into many different stories within that. I honestly didn't love it the first time I saw it, but it just keeps growing and growing. The more it lives in me, It has all kinds of these like just sensibilities that are so unique to French New Wave, and it's very fresh. Like there's an impersonal amount of cinematography behind it, and it's kind of like you're just looking at the world entirely from one person's perspective, and that I think would foreshadow a lot of what like Martin Scorsese would go on to do with his characters. But Nana's just really a great character. I'm always so fascinated by her scenes and just the characters and the situations she gets herself into. Certainly Goddard's most impactful, one of his most impactful, powerful films he's made. I would describe it as simultaneously a beautiful and tragic film. My favorite scene of the film would be the dancing sequence, because it kind of erases these sensations of whimsical beauty, but it's also like very concerning too, where the behavior can ultimately lead. It almost feels too happy in a way. And I think it's exactly what Godard wanted. Hey, it's pretty perfect for that. In 1963, he made, this is my favorite film he's made. I saw this recently. It blew me away. It's called Contempt. So this really reminded me of a Michelangelo Antonioni film. I think what this film was out to do in Goddard's perspective is he was having a sense of fun, and he just kind of got a giant cast together. It's the first time he really worked with a large cast, and he just wanted to find like what nihilistic living looks like. And by nihilistic, I mean acceptance of just like sincerity within the characters, but just like kind of getting away of just being loose and just free as one could possibly be, which could be controversial in a lot of people's eyes, especially at the time. I can imagine. Just you make decisions. You don't really think about the feelings of other people. That can be a core root of nihilism. You're not really considerate of what others are going to feel by the way you're presenting yourself. I think that's what I really got out of all that. Like it really made me think about the way I live. Like it's admittedly pretty a loose, free lifestyle, but I don't really like to go overboard. I always have my limits and my balances, but just so much heart and soul went into making this movie. I honestly just cannot wait to see this again so I can absorb more of its rich detail and atmosphere. It's really incredible. In 1964, he made The Band of Outsiders. This is a very like icy, fun movie, which this really feels like the blueprint for aesthetic of Reservoir Dogs. not as much story going on here, but or I would say that one's it's actually more entertaining film too in the end. But this one's just really fun. It has a lot of hop to it. And it just like has this like kind of homage kind of feeling going into it. Just like almost a spoof of crime films. It's just really funny. Like it really like Goddard likes to manipulate with sound a lot, and I really liked how he put it to good use throughout this entire film. It's really funny. Like it actually makes you laugh out loud. They all just have their moments, and it just ends up being a really memorable experience. In 1965, he made his second greatest film. This is a mind-boggling masterpiece, Pierrot Le Fou. Now, upon my latest rewatch, this is like his second best film. I think Contempt had the topic because that's slightly more personal to me in the end, but this is a very, very close one. Because it's just a frighteningly beautiful movie, honestly, from start to finish. It's just two free birds out having a good time, basically, and just the highs and lows that kind of come within the bond. I mean, hey, it hits in a personal way. Like, it makes sense. I totally have felt that, before. So I'm like, yeah, feeling that while watching that experience just really kind of captures me and stays with me. Moving forward, it's about like moving on after you've had an experience like that. Like, how you can almost like kind of always have that as a spiritual guide of like things can be that great again, sort of thing. It doesn't matter how you find them. You can find those pleasures again in vastly different, matured ways. You grow. It's like through moments like that. It's so beautiful how this film just explores the little details and how they kind of evolve throughout the entire fling they have together. It's so good. There's just a lot of excitement going on and just plenty of delight going on to the cinematic process. Like, it's really a beautiful film. It comes with the background of just plenty of adventurism, awakening, one's spirit of joy and grace. It's just, and he's really funny in this too. It's one of the funniest films I've ever seen. Some of these moments have made me laugh out loud. It's sort of hilarious. This is just what expression of freedom and fun looks like. I think a lot of this would translate to a lot of new, Americana films that come in the 60s and the 70s, and more of the fun kind of comedy dramas that would come forward. There's, some of the greatest films ever amongst that category. But yeah, it's just like, it feels like listening to like a Serge Gainsborough album. Like, it just really feels like chill and fun, the whole way through. In 1966, you have Masculine Feminine. Now, I need to see this one again. I really loved what I saw in this. This is just really a fantastic study of just young people who are just kind of caught up in this whole 60s wavelength, just like really coming to identify the differences and the necessity of just, literally just men and women, like how we need each other ultimately always. But this is a beautiful film. Yeah, I really want to see it again. So before I say more about it, 1967, he made The Weekend. This is just a perfect French New Wave film. I think it's the most maybe one of those groundbreaking films I've ever seen as far as just breaking the rules in the raw sense. Like, this isn't a film I really find the most entertaining, but I think I just love its expression of just do it. Like, it really hits the rawest core of that. I think a lot of films may explore that in more substantial ways, but this just really gets to a raw, almost a punk feeling, before punk was around. It's kind of cool. This is like 60s punk. I guess that was kind of a thing, the Frank Zappa kind of category. Yeah, Godard just really struck a marvelous balance here. It's gorgeous and it's ugly at the same time. And this is what anarchy really felt like amidst the revolution. This is the dark side of all that revolutionary energy going on in the 60s and how that ultimately leads to a corruption and downfall. You have to really tame that and harness that, when you feel like you're calling to do, whatever it is you're meant to do. But yeah, that's all I can cover for Godard. I know I need to see a lot more of his films, but these are the big ones. Those are my absolute favorites. Yeah, he's amazing.